It's Saturday, and I know the lighting is a little bit different, but do you know where your host is? Let's find out. It's time to start the show. Let's say our magic words and get things started here.
All right, you want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
And yes, it is. It is showtime. It is 9 p.m. on the dot in Central Time Zone here. Welcome to another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I'm your host, Joe D. McPhee. And yes, there was another WhatNot show earlier today. We will talk about that. We will talk about a couple of other things, but let's get the business portion out the way here. And the business portion is always dealing with, understanding that stupid o'clock happens 1 hour into this show. If we go into a 2 hour show this week here, always starting at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Central. Then it's followed up by Last Man Standing. Then you get a little bit of a respite until Monday till 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central for Nevermind the Furthermore with Nicholas Talker. And let's not forget about Thursdays, Comic Book Spectrum right here. Thursday, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time zone here. And let's not forget about the the creatives, the Independent Creators Directory. I almost lost my spot here. Independent Creators Directory, and if you want to know a little bit more about that, is a spot on the internet for independent creators of like minds can have their information, if I can say, centralized, just in case Facebook goes out or Twitter goes out or any other major platform goes out. Your information will be there. People can find where you're located at, whether it be through emails, other social media platforms that is not as popular, stuff to that magnitude. And if you don't believe me, take tad bit of taste of what the Independent Creators Directory is all about here. I don't just promote the Independent Creators Directory, I'm also a client of it. So for the low price of $40, it is a lifetime membership here where you can have your information in a centralized place, just in case your website goes down, just in case Facebook goes down, or any of the other popular platforms. People will have a spot where they can reach out to you, and that's always a good thing here. And on that note, let's get into the crux of the show here, because I know we got people already in the house, already clamoring to talk. I saw one person who already told me that they're going to be up here. They're going to be ready to talk my ear off. So we got Parallax here. It's like, yeah, 2 hours, 13 minutes early, but it's fine. Yep, it is perfectly fine and everything here. And then we had shortly after that, Donna showed up, and we're going to, and then Carl, or as some people say, Coral. And yep, me so far, yep. And then Witzman dude, and I'm telling everybody hello at that point. And I'm not sure how long I will be awake, but it's been quite a day. Well, I can understand. I can understand. It's been quite a day here. It's like I said, I did a WhatNot live stream literally a couple hours before that. Had just barely enough time to grab a burger and do a couple other things before jumping right back on here. Yeah, don't forget to like and share, folks. Yep, that always help. And then now she's back here, so we got Parallax back. It's like, hey, Carl and Donna, and then there's Sarah. Sarah is here, and it's like, why she got to be that? Why can't she just be? Why can't she just be Sarah? And then she's winking back and saying Parallax. So if you could tell us, like, my reaction is more along the lines, we're just one big happy family here. It's just like, my reaction is like, hey, not of shock and dismay. It's just more along the line, hey, why she got to be that? More of the jokingly type deal. It's like, yep, hey, Dark Mistress, and everybody's greeting one another. So let's get to what I think is one of your guys' favorite part of this show here, and nonetheless, it began to grow on me too. And that favorite part of the show is new comic book pickups for the week. Do we have new comic books pickup for the week? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. It's right now. It's almost inevitable that there's going to be new comic book pickups here, and everybody's still green. Oh, and then it's like for Spectre, probably I'm not on the Facebook the right way. The right way. You never know with her. You never know with her. But yes, there are comic book pickups for this week here. There is major. I wouldn't say major stacks, but there's enough stuff here to really talk about here. And so I'm going to pull the stuff out the box here, and we're going to go over it because all this stuff is going to storage, and we're going to get a lot of other stuff here. And we got some not safe for work stuff in too. So I'm kind of happy about that. But let's get through the new comic books here. We're going to try to do it as best as we can here. We're going to start with a copy of War Machine #1 that came in. We got Outsiders 13, the Return of the Fearsome Five. So I was like, yeah, there's Gizmo, Jinx, everybody there. And then we got a lot. I got extra copies of Bombshells United #1, and that's issue 4. And then DC Bombshells #1, and there's a 16 and an 18, and the annual #1. I know that's an extra copy. And we got a Jughead 1/20. This is from the newer series, so the newer stuff to me is not as good as the stuff from like the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. I don't know. I guess the humor is different for some reason. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we're gonna stop right there because we got getting closer to a full run at Alias here. Yep, I got a good laugh out of that too. We got getting closer to a full run of Alias. This is issue number 26. This is one of the missing ones that I have. This is dealing with the Purple Man Part 3, or Purple Part 3. So I know that's part of the Purple Man aspect here. We got Catwoman number 63 from the current run. We got another copy of Barda for Free Comic Book Day. I was happy to get that. I'm still looking for it for another one. And yes, I did buy another copy for myself. So this is not yours. Yours is in your stack. So before you say anything, you know who I'm talking about because you're in the chat right now. This is not your copy. Your copy is in your stuff over here that's going to get sent out. This is an extra. This is my copy, extra copy. So now I have two. You got one, and everybody's happy. And then we got this old school Archie from like the 19. I want to say it's like almost like late 50s, like 59, because it's actual issue number 73. So this is a very old Archie comic here. Kind of happy to have that here. And then we got some Storm version covers here. I think this is Immortal X-Men, and I forgot which X-Men book this is from here, but this is an extra copy and everything. And then we got a Storm number 1, and then we got the blank for Angel number 1. And this is Angel from like Buffy and Angel, so that's kind of back in the days here. Now this is a book that Clyde actually reviewed one time, which is Minor Threats number 1, because I was up here trying to get a full run of that where I could read it for myself. But this is kind of interesting in the long run. So eventually I'm going to get a full run of it and actually read it. Speaking of which, I still have to read the Junkyard Joe. That's behind me. I still have to finish reading that here. We got Blood Hunt number 1, the Tiger cover. And we got the price. I don't know why the price tag's still on here. Black Panther variant cover of number 1 for the Sound and the Fury here. So we got those that came in, and then there is still more. Okay. Yeah, we're going to just deal with it as is. Books that most people don't think I would buy, and as I go along, mixed in between here. We got Vampire Girls number 5, and this was like during like a part one somebody showed that was like adult comics and whatnot. So that was one that they had offered up. It wasn't very expensive here. And then we got another Catwoman 41, 35, and then this is a not so great copy of Death Rattle number 1. We got another Legends number 1, and Legends number 1 is the first appearance of Amanda Waller. So I got a second copy of that. The other copy that I have of this is graded at a 9.6. So now I have a raw copy of that. We got another Huntress number 1, which is newsstand, I believe. I believe that's the newsstand copy of Huntress 1. We got Huntress number 2 from her second volume, from her second series. Then we got more adult reader type stuff. So we got Spicy Tales number 7 and 17. And we got Wonder Woman number 15. And here is the thing. And I let's see. It's like, exactly, Sarah. Humph to you. Why? Oh, wait. I am missing a whole bunch of stuff. Let me slow down and come back here. We're going to deal with some of these comics because I need to understand what's going on here. Yeah, going to sell and trade more. Yep. Ooh, Catwoman. Yep. There are so many crisis titles. I get cross-eyed trying to keep them straight. Yep. The story is always my favorite of the X-Men when I was into it. Yep. Exactly, Sarah. And humph to you. I'm pretty sure I sold some issues of some things you are showing. Yep, probably so. That's mine. Give me that. No, yours is sitting right over there. I even showed it to you. That one is an extra because I know how you are. You be up here, it's like, oh yeah, I got this one. That's mine. No, there was two. and I gave you the better one. Rolling on the floor. Yeah, rolling on the floor. Yep. Dead girl, dead girl, dead girl. That is funny. Oh, look at me. I'm Joe. The D stands for do, bro. I need newsstand copies or I will explode. Boo. No, I don't need newsstands. It just happened to be a newsstand. Dang. It's like, is it rude to ask how much all of this cost you by the time you'll be surprised of what you can get when you go into different shows, especially online, where pulls are $1, and people would go through like boxes upon boxes upon boxes of comics that they got like 5, 10, 20 of. That's like, okay, we'll sell it at $1. It's like, okay, give me one of those, give me one of those, give me one of those, give me one of those. And for the low price of what you spend for lunch, you could come out with, at least 5 to 20 books easily. That's one of the reasons why I constantly tell people the fastest way to build a collection is through quarter boxes, 50-cent boxes, and dollar boxes, because there's a lot of good comics that's in there, especially if you're like fans of different titles. Because you could get like a lot of the easier get copies of things like X-Men, Avengers, and everything in dollar boxes and quarter boxes and 50-cent boxes. You won't probably get keys out of them, but at least you could get the bulk of the series that way. And that's why I always advise, go to your dollar boxes, go to your 50-cent pulls, go to your quarter pulls, because you never know what you may find up in them. No, it's mine. It's all mine. Like the oh boy. Joe and I make sure I overpay for those. Yeah, yeah, we do. But we won't we won't reveal too much more. But yes, we try to do. We try to get people to prove a point, and we saw something that had happened yesterday that did not make any sense. And Paralife, remind me to talk about that once we're finished with new comic book pickups for the week. We'll talk about that. Very cool. Yes, it is very cool. I mean, getting comic books can be inexpensive, but getting the stuff that people go goo goo gaga for, it's not easy. It's not easy like it was back in the day to get a good copy of it. It's like for very bad copies, people try to get, oh, this is near mint. It's like it's nowhere near mint. They want to overcharge you to try to get the best money. That's how I grew my library, dollar boxes at auctions and rummage sales. Oh, auctions and especially rummage sales. Rummage sales, you could probably go in and be like, oh, there's a box of comics over there. It's like how much do you want for the comics? They would probably look at you and be like, just give me like $10 for the box, and you could walk away with a couple hundred comics or more. I mean, it's not uncommon, and Donna is absolutely right on that. Yeah, what we saw yesterday was that ridiculous, very. And yeah, and we will talk about it for 100 years because people are morons. Yep. Those are words, not mine. Yeah, me at the show, just because you had those books near a box of junior mints does not make them near mint. Oh wow, that is funny. Yeah, I spent an enormous amount of comics back when I was acting like they never be discovered again. I just don't get into a whole lot anymore. Selling and trading like crazy is still a ton to read. Yeah, I still have my reading list is growing by the second if you consider the newer stuff that's coming out. That list is growing even bigger. And then when I come across new stuff that I haven't discovered as of yet, those lists has grown too. But getting back to what we was doing here. So we got from volume 1 of Huntress, we got issue 14, and you guys know what this means. That's 15. That is Huntress 15. So that means what? It is done. Volume 1 is complete. I now have a complete run of Volume 1 of Huntress. I just need to get it bagged and board and everything. I have no idea what this armature is about here, but people were talking about it, and since it was only $1, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to complain about it. And then we got another Catwoman 5, Catwoman 6, Catwoman 7, Catwoman 9. I probably got I probably got like 4 or 5 of these. 14, 7. And this is where we get into the weirdness because this is I think this is the it's Vampirella She Queen's Gambit. I don't know. I don't remember how it's listed in CLZ, but yes, I was able to get that for $1, as well as this Double Impact. I forgot from what volume that is from here, but I got that one for $1. And I got this one here for $1, which is actually signed. I didn't realize that it was signed until after it got here. Yeah, all out of $1 box. And yes, triple X women. I have no idea about what that is, but it was like a one shot that was like, yeah, $1. And then I'm getting closer and closer to having a full run of the very first Typhoid Mary appearances in Daredevil. I do have my trade dealing with the Typhoid Mary story. It's not the same. It's not the same of having each issue and reading it issue by issue here. We will save this one for a little bit later because those are a little bit more important later on down the line here. So these may not. Well, I don't know. It depends on my mood. These might not make it to the Wonder Woman sale in 2 weeks, but they might. I don't know because I know that they're extras. So we got the extra number 2, number 3, number 6, number 12, 13, 15. So we got 2 15s in over this week. 21, 26, 32, 38, 48, and a 50. Now, just to let you guys know, those issues that I just showed you for Wonder Woman, I was getting those somewhere in between $1 to $2 each. You know, again, nothing, nothing too much more, just spending kind of like lunch money from the week and whatnot. Not that hard here to deal with here. Now, these books I got from like a 5 for 5 sale. So I got a complete run in that 5 for 5 sale. I got a complete run of the Fallen Angel series, which I've been trying to get for the longest here. So we got issue 1 from this limited series, issue 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which features one of Leia's least favorite characters, the dime store version of Dazzler, where Jubilee is the dollar store version. Boom, boom. Then we got a fantastic from that same 5 for 5 sale. We got a Fantastic Four #1 from the Jim Lee series. We got a 416, an Avengers 300, and an Avengers 280. And then we almost got a complete run of Mephisto Versus. So I missing issue 1, but I think I have that in storage. So we got an issue 2, issue 3, and an issue 4. And that's everything from the 5 for 5 run. And then I believe that I got this Tales of the Green Lantern Corps #1 and the Justice League and the final issue of Legends here dealing with the Suicide Squad and everything. And we got another Wonder Woman 113 where we get to see the first cover appearance of Cassandra Sandsmart, who eventually became the second Wonder Girl. But last but not least, the treat that is beyond a treat for me, because again, other people sleep on series like this other than me. I ended up getting a whole full set again of Whoa Nelly. And people who don't know what Whoa Nelly is, this is Fantagraphics' short little run. It was a 3-issue series talking about women's pro wrestling here. It was a short story about women's pro wrestling. And what was cool about it is that they actually featured actual professional women's wrestlers from back in the day. And they had like little bitty galleries of art in these issues here when they was up here talking about it from the actual pro wrestling magazines from back in the day. So they actually had all the different portraits of all the different pro wrestlers that were involved, and they kind of used some in the actual issues and everything as a whole here. So me, doing the prime time Saturday night and everything, this is kind of like one of those books that I have to go out and seek out just for purposes of knowing what to talk about and seeing what has been done and everything. It was a lot, it would be considered research for me more so than anything else. But yes, this is set number 2 of it. I do have a complete run in storage, but I do have to get that bagged and board and everything, which leaves us with the last 2 books of the night here. And the last 2 books of the night, let me put this stuff back in the box here because I gotta take all this stuff to storage on tomorrow. So that means I probably gotta pack it up a little bit differently when it's all said and done at the end of the night. This thing here, reason why I said protect the back because we got it in. We got graded books in. So we got an 8.5 of Wolverine #2 from the very first limited series. So what I found interesting with this one, I actually ended up getting this for like the low price of like $40, which is unheard of now because and Parallax can actually tell you. And the reason why I got it for $40 because the case back here is cracked. So eventually I could send it in to get a new holder and new case and everything. But the whole thing about it is like we have seen people pay upwards of like hundreds of dollars for this book, and I got an 8.5 for like $40, all because it has a cracked casing up on it. And then we got issue number 48 in a 9.4 that also I paid like $40 for. So these are the types of things that as you go along and you just find deals. And to me, it's just like any type of collector, just like any type of thing that is worthwhile or worth money. It's like you kind of find the deals for it. Just like if you're into gym shoes, you know where to go to get the latest and greatest deals for whatever gym shoe that you want, whether it be jewelry, that type of stuff. So it is what it is here. And let's see where were we? Yeah, I was like, oh no, we talked about that one. And yeah, Sarah, that is called FOMO, fear of missing out. Dubros are full of that. They're not. It's not just FOMO. People have FOMO for certain things. It's just more along the lines that they don't care. They just think that, oh, it would never come about, or I want that one. If I can't have that one, I won't ever get it. And it's like they're just like, don't you realize how many copies of that type of stuff is still out there? It's just weird. Just like when the Return of Wolverine issue, yeah, that's good. It's like they had a 1 in 2,000 variant selling for $2,000. Guess what? That book tanked and it's worthless. And Wolverine doesn't even come back in that book. Yep. It's like I have the original artwork of the Catwoman #9 direct photos that I it's like I got it signed by Jim. Yep. Yeah, that's mine. What is yours now? What, the Catwoman 9? The Catwoman 9, you claiming the Catwoman 9 now? That's what you're claiming? Yeah, it's like I was doing impulse spending so much, selling and trading things I haven't even read yet. There's so much before I gain control over myself. Love and respect for your love for everything. That's the thing. I don't like everything, but what I do like, I keep and I try to take care of it. When it comes to comics, it's like I try to take care of it, especially if somebody says like, "Here, instead of throwing out my collection, I want you to have it," and I feel more obligated to keep their collection pristine or as close as I can, and add it into my collection. So that's kind of like how I have like things like Spawn and a lot of these other books that I would normally not pick up in my collection. And as I go through them, I might pick one up and read it and be like, okay, I can see why this person like it, but that's just not my cup of tea type deal. Beanie is talking to Muffin. Indeed, Donna. Yep. Remember, tables at bookstores are good too. Yep. hmm Boo Boo is a no frills brand. Yeah, that's why I said she's a dime store. She's the dime store. She it's like you could go to like it's like you had like before you had dollar stores and then you also had like the hole in the wall stores that had a little bit of everything. That's where you find Boom Boom at. Indeed, they are a lot of used bookstores. A lot of comic collections came in from me. Yep. Due to that, I went back home and brought him a short box and might take him another one. He prefers them over long boxes, so I could get rid of them. Yeah, long boxes are harder to maintain. That's just it. I just even in storage when I do videos from storage, all those boxes that you see are short boxes and that's 70 of them. And I think I got 10 more coming. I got 10 more coming in. So hopefully I could get everything boxed up and actually organized quite soon here. Oh, I didn't know who likes the Dune movies, but I have the official AMC movie posters. I'm going to make certain that it goes to fans and not in the trash. Yeah, I bet you there's a lot more Dune fans that are willing to admit it here. Yep. Just like how you got the Marvel Chillers for number 3 for like 50. Chillers 3 first Tigra. That's first Tigra when Greer Grant first becomes Tigra. She's no longer the cat, she becomes Tigra at that point. Yeah. I know I know that. Uh thing is I see pressable defects and I'm considering again, I have talked about CPR before. I'm not against it, but with all the problems that have came up as of late, dealing with cracking precedent and resubmitting it, I still feel that we as collectors are our own worst enemy when it comes to that. Why? Because I don't think that process is, if I could say, accurate enough. Where if I crack out a book, you need to submit that registration number to keep everything straight, or else the census count gets skewed. So now it's pretty much instead of just having one book on the census, you have two books. And eventually, if you do it a third time, it goes from two books to three books because why it has three different certification numbers on it, and that process has to get fixed. So that's why I said we are kind of like our own worst enemy with CPR. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just to me that process is. How are you going to complain a book that I don't even know about that I just happen to ran across it? It's like here, it's for we're going to put it out there for it all. It's like okay, we're going to run this stack of these three books. They're going to be $1 a piece, so we start everything at $3. So I got it for $3. I haven't even read it. It's like, no, it's mine. Always try to snatch books out my hand. Yeah, the only reason I'm even thinking about it is because I can see the flaws that can be pressed. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that. But my question is, it still comes: how honest are people when they do the CPR? Are they coming back and saying that yes, this book was originally graded up under this certification number for either CBCS, CGC, PGX, or whoever is the grading company that they originally sent it to, could keep their record straight? And to me, that those records have to be kept straight, or else pretty much we're doing ourselves a disservice when it comes to grading. That certification is really not for, if I could say for value purposes. I look at it more so for insurance purposes. And when I say insurance purposes, it's like if you have like a flood or a natural disaster, the insurance company could go back and look at that census and be like, okay, he had all of these in these types of conditions, and they could go up and they could look up the fair market value for all this stuff, other stuff, and cut you a nice big check for that at the fair market value price for it. That's why it's that important. The reason why I always talk about preservation as opposed to resale. Resale, it is what it is, and I understand that everybody wants to have the best and brightest all the time. But that certification number is more valuable than what people make it out to be. It's not about having that. And let me see if I could grab one of these real quick. For me, for me, that number right there, that 85, is not as valuable as that number right there. That number right there is more important than this number here. This number right here validates that it was this condition when it left their hands. It does not state that this book is still in an 8.5 condition, but it verifies that it was at least that grade when it left CGC's hands. And that's what's good about the insurance aspect of it. And yeah, oh, it's like, oh, look, it's a 9.6. I can get a 9.9. No, we're see, that's one of the things I know that you're kidding about. Because again, I'm not like that person. It's like, oh yeah, I'm so certain that if I press it one more time, I could get it from a 9.6 to a 10. No, doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. I'm sorry, does not work. Yeah, but when I read sub, I have to turn in the old label. You'll be surprised of how many people that do not. That's my problem with CPR. There's a lot of people that don't. And I have seen people crack out stuff and throw the labels away when they keep it raw. I still feel if you crack out something, it's your obligation to make the graders or that company know that you cracked it open and to throw away that certificate number, or else their numbers are skewed. But that's kind of like my axe to grind when it comes to CPR. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just more along the lines like it is what it is. So never take what I said there as don't don't do CPR. CPR is needed. Trust me. There's certain books that you could look at and be like, they grade this at a 1.5, and it's like, let me go ahead and press this to get this, up to like a four or five. That happens all the time. That's logical. What I find illogical is, oh, I'm going to take this 9.2, press it, and see if I could get a 9.8. It's like 9 times out of 10, some presses don't bump your grade up that much if it's at a 9.2, 9.4, 9.6. It doesn't. Just accept the fact that it's not a 9.8. It just be easier. But from like a point 0.5 to a 1, yeah, do it. Why not? Why not? If it helps the appearance of it, it helps the presentation, why not? But be honest about it. Since we are being honest, let's talk about let's talk about the WhatNot sale. And it was okay. It was pretty successful. Just to show that we got everything packed up and almost ready to go here. I still have to do the printing labels and all the other stuff and put them in nice pretty bags and send them on their way and everything. But it was okay. We sold quite a few books here and everything. And I think the route that I took here with the theme of having just having like a how I did it was I had a She-Hulk want list sale. Now, granted, I had people coming and asking me, "Hey, I want She-Hulk number 40. Do you have it?" Yes. It's like I started the show off saying I'm not a retailer. I don't have all of these books and selling this stuff as a retail store. This stuff is coming from my personal collection, and these are extras that I'm willing to let go. So you asked me, do you have Sensational She-Hulk 34? Yes, I do. It's not for sale. And if you want me to put it up for sale, make it worth my time. And it's like, well, can you? It's like, can you put it up for sale? It's like, are you going to make it worth my time? Are you going to pay me at least fair market value for it? And that's when it go crickets, crickets, crickets. Because why am I going to give up? What I consider maybe my only copy to complete my run or a graded copy for somebody else. It's like I'm not doing this because I'm desperate for money. I'm doing it because I'm trying to help other people complete their collections, and it frees up spots in my collection where either A, I could get other books now in these short boxes, or getting rid of, some of the bulk that I really don't need. But that's just the way that I'm approaching it. But again, do bro as Paralife would say, do bros are going to be do bros. That's just the way that they are. Yeah, it's like I sent you the picture of the rare book, which means that we never had a Who is Donna Troy story. Oh my goodness, you full of the jokes today. You're full of the jokes. Do you have the Hulk 441? Do you have Hulk 34 or 40? Because I'm a dude, bro, and I need these books because I don't read. Yeah. Oh, just you saw what I did to the one dude, the one person that asked about the 441. It's like, yeah, I have the 441. Matter of fact, I have one graded in this one right here, which I got to submit because I got Peter David's signature on it. Am I selling it to you? No. If it was on the auction block, I would have had it on the auction block. There's certain things that, like I said, I'm not. It would have been different. I guess my attitude would be, if I was doing this because I need the money, I would have been like, sure, here, it's signed by Peter David. Give me X, Y, and Z. Just like with the one guy that asked for the volume 3 at $2 instead of paying 3. I didn't have a problem with that because he really wanted it. And for me, it's not about making the most money as possible. It's like, I need the books gone. I rather put it in his hand because he made it quite clear that he wanted that collection more so than anything else. Yeah, press. Of course, I gotta get it pressed before it gets graded. And then, knowing don't use their presser. They suck. Their paper suck. Yeah, they do. It does. Authentication. Yes. Authentication. Yes. That's the hard part is the authentication, and that drives up the price way too much. That's the only reason why that book has That is the reason why that book hasn't gone, and a lot of other books have not gone back to CGC. And when I say books, that's like I got Chris Claremont signed X-Men books that I have to send back because they're green label now. If I go send those books back to get them regraded or reissued, reholder and regraded, it's still going to cost me a lot more money in the long run here. Yeah, don't use the CCS paper. They suck balls. Like I said, I learned my lesson with the Ultimate Fallout 4. And what's weird is that my greatest adventures number 80, which was sold to me at a 1.5, came back a 4.5 or better through their pressing. But my Wonder Woman 204, which I thought was going to be at least a 7 or an 8, came back a 6.5 through that same pressing process. So I don't know. I just don't know what to make of it. It just seems like the older the book, the better they press the stuff. But that Ultimate Fallout 4 is like, yeah, still in the poly bag and everything. It wasn't creased up. The corners and stuff were nice and pretty and everything. And it comes back in 9.4. Am I upset about it? A little bit. Am I going goo goo gaga? It's like, oh, they're so wrong and this, that, and the other. It's like, no, it is what it is. I know things still in poly bags normally don't come back no higher than a 9 if you don't get it pressed. The press didn't help this book as much, or as you would say, yeah, their pressing process probably does suck balls for that particular book. Yeah, same here. I have X-Men 130 signed by Claremont. I know it's real because he signed it in front of my face. Yeah, yeah. I already told you my Chris Claremont story. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get my prudence. I have my prudence and caution somewhere back there where I need to get press signed and graded. Because he signed that one in front of my face, plus these X-Men books that came back green label. If Kendra's press it would be a 6.5. Who is Kendra? Because they suck. Yeah. Yeah. But again, but that's my whole thing. It's like I know that on that book the edges and stuff was not crisp and pristine, but I could have sworn that it would at least came back at least somewhere closer to like a 7.5 to an 8 than a 6.5. But I'm not going to argue. I don't argue. I don't argue grades. Grades. Gary Kendra, presser, super skilled, super cool collector himself. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it just, am I upset about that? No, I'm not upset about it. Only because the My Greatest Adventure came out a lot higher than I expected. So whatever happened, it's like it is what it is. So I just now know that that book, in my estimation, was not as accurate, unlike the My Greatest Adventures number 80. That book was sold to me by Metropolis as I 1.5. Metropolis is not that bad at grading. One good press, and like I said, if it was Kendra that pressed it, he did one hellified job to that book. That's all I can say. Yeah, but you're not super thrilled. Again, I, I'm not a professional grader. So how can I be overly joyed or overly disappointed? I could be like, oh, I learned something new from getting this book grade. Just like I don't, well, put it this way. Should I go ahead? Yeah, let me go ahead and do this here. Just bear with me for 1 second here. Since we're really talking about this, and again, people, advantage of short boxes. Advantages of short boxes here. Here it is. Here it is, right there. The one thing that I can't don't know is they don't say who pressed the books. But I mean, it looks so spiffy. It presents very well. It did not look like this in its back and board. It looked a lot worse in its back and board. So whoever pressed it did their due diligence and made this book pop. That's all I can say. Because that book did not look anywhere close to this. Now, mind you, I tried to keep these things preserved as best as possible. But getting back to the other things here, such as AO X-Men number 100, signed by Claremont himself in front of my face. X-Men 97, signed by Claremont. X-Men 101. This one is a 7.5, by the way, signed by Claremont. So, these are the types of things that, I sit back and I look back at when I got the stuff done and when I submitted them in, and it's like, I kind of wish they would have did authentication back then because it drives up the value. It drives up the value of the books even back then. But everybody poo-poos the qualified grade. It's like sometimes we get qualified grades because again we have the book signed and we just don't have any other option because they didn't witness it. And I get it. They have to do what they got to do. I try to think, well, where's the other book that I had with this? Oh, this will make Parallax happy. You better get yours better than mine. Yours better come out better than mine. That's the challenge that I have for Parallax here. That's your challenge. That's the challenge that you have here. Yeah, you can lift them easier than full boxes. Yep. So that's my challenge to you here, Parallax. Yours better come out better than mine. That's a 9.0 of the Marvel Chill is the first Tigra. That was also in this box too. But these are the types of things that I also look at as well. Just like this one right here. I know people are going to sneeze at this. I'm happy that I have this in a 5.0 because why? It presents very well at a 5.0. And this is a Mr. Miracle number 4, the first big barter issue. It presents very well, but people sneeze at it. Why? Because it's CBCS. Now up here, it's like CBCS is just as good. It's just as good as everybody else here. Oh, Mr. Permission is in the house. Cool. Hello, Ryan. Long time no see. Hopefully everything is hunky dory over there. Yeah, I also like to think for years all the CGC homers rage against CBCS for authentication and how it was a farce and bullshit, and now JSA for yep. Again, we never had uh, authentication problem with CBCS. Never, not at all. It's just that CGC did not want to do it in house until they see that there was money left on the table. Oh, don't mind me. I was just looking at this one. This is a hundredth one and a 9.6. So I'm just trying to figure out what ended up happening with some of the books here. And then, I know that we talked about this book earlier. It still is a 9.4, but still, it's one of these books that, as we talked about before, Parallax, do bros go goo goo gaga over a first printing of it. And I just happened to be like going to storage, and I even told somebody that I know here, it's like I walked into storage, I feel like a stupid idiot after seeing it. It's like it's still in a poly bag, bagged and board, and I'm sitting up here, it's like I'm still going meh. I don't see what the big deal is about. And then on its heyday and its biggest boom, when this book was, you know, going for several of thousands of dollars because people were so afraid that I won't be able to get one by the time we get to like the fifth or sixth printing of it. What happened? Stuff just deflated. But back in the day, even like it's just a short 3 years ago, this was a highly sought after book for thousands of dollars, and I sat on it. And I didn't even know that I didn't realize that I actually have it until it was too late. Was I going to sell it? Hell no. Why? Because I'm a preservationist and not a flipper. I mean, I still have books that I'm still sit up here and figure out. Well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when the books are not going to do well? Like this one here, this Edge of Villain verse #1. I have no idea if this book is good or bad or indifferent. I ended up getting this one, winning this one free out of somebody's auction. It was a signature series, Villainverse #1, signed. I don't know what this Matina version variant is actually worth in the bigger scheme of things. Do I care how much it's worth? No, but I need to look at that type of stuff just to be okay with it, you know. But those are the types of things that always come up when it comes to collecting here. Even with this book, I would still not do a CPR on that. And this is one of these rare ones because that's a 1/8. They don't do 1/8s anymore. They rarely do 1.8s. This is rare. This is rare. They don't do that. And yes, this is a 1.8, and yes, you are looking at it correctly. This is a actual X-Men 1. But saying all that to say, sometimes it's not about how much money it's worth. It's more about keeping the collection in order and having the full run. To me, having a full run and being able to wax nostalgia about it and go back and read it is more important than trying to make money off of it. Yeah, I could sell that and get a couple of $1,000s for it, but that couple of $1,000s is not going to allow me to replace it. Why? Because they're just that hard to find now. Whether it be graded or raw, they're just that hard to find. And as we go along, it's just going to get more and more expensive in the long run. So it's not even worth it in the long run. So he said, yeah, it's like I have the exact same bookie in front of me and a 9-0 blue label. Yep, see, that's why I said it's like that was your challenge. It's like you gotta get better. My whole thing is I read it for other people. If they could get better than what I got, so be it. That's the good thing. You always want to wish other people well and not to be like, aha, I got something better. It's like, no, if I got a 9.8, I want you to get a 9.8, a 9.9, or a 10. I want people to actually have the upper echelon. And for those who like, the more beat up books and the more loved books, so be it. Let it be the best loved book where you read it over and over again for the best that it could be. That's one of the reasons why I love um I love how he always talks about Jack Kirby's New Gods. He has a New Gods #1 here. Dang it! Why is his name escaping me right now? Glenn B. Fleming. Glenn's New Gods #1 is so red that it's falling apart. It is actually still signed by Jack Kirby. The signature stuff is intact, but you know the covers is a detached, and some of the pages are falling out of it. But he keeps it still together. I would have gone ahead and got it graded, but he's old school. He's like, no, I always want to come back and touch it and read it over and over and over again, and I don't fault him for it. Me myself, I would have been like, let me try to find another copy before I could preserve this because the signature and everything is worth preserving. That's going to be the keepsake. But how we keep our keepsakes is that how we keep our keepsakes here. Hello, Sarah. Good, Joe. Was just celebrating speed. Ooh, Keanu Reeves. Bus cannot go up under 55 miles per hour movie. 30th anniversary with a watch along tonight. I did not know that it was a watch along tonight. Only reason I didn't know because I was busy doing a WhatNot show earlier this afternoon, so I did not know about that. Fun, Ryan. Lord of the Rings is playing in AMC theaters for the 20th anniversary. Oh my God, no way. Yep, yep. Speed 30 years. Yep, yep. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. Yeah, yep. I have 4 copies that I have open in bags and three in bags. I paid like $11 for 3 copies, so it's still in poly bag. The book was filling up the long boxes in the store. Yep, back at it again. Now people are having this weird FOMO about this book because of how Edge of Spider Verse and Miles Morales has blown up. And you and I probably remember when Miles first came out, there was a big controversy about him and how people didn't like him at first. People did not like the character of Miles Morales at first. On the other hand, I kind of took to him in the very beginning, just like how I kind of took to Kamala Khan at first, because those were like unique characters that wasn't like in your face, I'm different. They actually had a story that was different than their counterpart that they that had their mantle, that they're taking their mantle. It's like Miles Morales Spider-Man was not Peter Parker, even though a lot of people who are fans of Spider-Man we kept saying we don't need a color swap Peter Parker. It's like no, his story is nowhere close to Peter's. What are you guys talking about? It's like, yeah, he got bitten by a spider, but the spiders were different. One was radioactive, the other one was experimental, not radioactive. It was very experimental and everything. It was pretty much Norman Osborn trying to recreate the very same type of spider that gave Peter his powers, and he was trying to weaponize it. But again, the stories are completely different and whatnot. It drives me up the wall where people up here is like semantics, dude, semantics. You have to look at it from the bigger picture. They just couldn't do something original. It's like they did something original. You don't want to accept it because you're a fan of Peter Parker. and you got 60 plus years of Peter Parker stories that you could always go to. You don't need a newer one. And if you do need newer ones, then guess what? Talk to Marvel. And what they did is like they kind of had it split. It's like they had still Peter Parker stories going on, and then Miles was originally relegated to Ultimate Spider-Man, and he took over the Ultimates title while you still had the Amazing Spider-Man with Peter Parker. They did not cross over and everything. The Ultimates universe and the regular Marvel universe were two separate things still at that time. So to me, it's like you had your cake and eat it too. But no, you're going to complain because I want Ultimate Spider-Man to still be Peter. I was like, why are you so hard on lack of change in that aspect? Let it go. B says, "Oh, you don't want it? Can I have it?" No. Yes, true. Speed is 30 years old. Next week we celebrate Temple of Doom and the Last Crusade, 40 and 35 years. Wow. Wow, the Last Crusade is 35 years old. I kind of figured that Temple of Doom was that old, but Last Crusade is really that old? 35? Wow. Beanie also says you need the shiny. It's like you need the shiny bags for your slabbies. Those bags are shiny bag. No, I need new plastics. That's what she really was saying. That's what she's really saying. It's like I need new plastics for that for the for this here. Not every plastic for slabs are nice and beautiful. Wow, Ryan. Holy yeah. Movies that we think that are not that old are really that old now. Sandra Bullock. Yep. As well. Yep. Like New Mutants 98 was in dollar bins for years. And in some places they still probably still in dollar bins. People don't realize that. It's just now that modern collectors are or modern stores are now going in and looking for, oh well, key collector just said that this is a brand new key that's now worth $40 right now, so let me pull all those things out of our back stock and now price them at $40. Like, no, don't do that. That's still spec. It's like things like that is still speculation, but it is what it is. Oh, fake Spider-Man, he's black. Peter is Spidey. B Miles is actually pretty cool and well written. Yes, he was. He had his own sets of problems. His own. It's like it. He was nowhere close to a retelling of Peter like how Scarlet Spider was, and it's like, oh, we're going to make him hip. He going to work at a coffee shop. Right. Okay. That's going to make us like Scarlet Spider that much more. Ben Ben Riley to me was not well received like Miles was. Miles was well received in Ultimates. Ben Riley was not. But yet people will put respect on Ben Riley's name and not Miles when they first were introduced. But you know, what do I know? I just read comics. Who's Beanie? A pet? Oh no. You're up here trying to get. Don't do that, Sarah. Don't do that, Sarah. No, Beanie is is Parallax's daughter. The only Spider-Man I was collecting is Spider-Punk. I'm beginning to like that character. I began to like that character only because of how he was portrayed in Across the Spider-Verse. At first I did not understand the whole anarchy thing theme that they was trying to do with Spider Punk until they brought it out in Across Spider Verse. And once I understood what they was going after, I was like, oh, it makes sense now. That's a cool Spider-Man character. I'm glad that he's part of the supposed Spider-Man family, as far as all the different Spider-Mans that could be. B says, I'm not a pet. Yeah, me correct. It's like me correct. Beanie is a brat sickle. I'm not a brat sickle. Yeah, Beanie is just Beanie. And see, and then one more to pull over this blade. Had to narrow down my pull financially. Yep. Blade was just one comic book wise. I just didn't get into comic book wise. It read differently. It just read really differently. I'm going to go into chat right now. Relative, I'm confused. No, Beanie is actually Parallax's little daughter. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why when you hear Beanie says it's like that's her daughter say being a part of the conversation in the chat here. So that don't there's no reason to be confused. Beanie is my daughter. She's 6.5 years old, and she is on my lap, and her god sister Lils is on my other lap. So yeah, they're up here watching the show here, and she was up here. What she was trying to do here is she was trying to snake. She was literally trying to snake this book from me. That's what started all of this. It's like if you don't want it, give it to me. So she was trying to snake this book for free, knowing good and well that she ended up getting a a sensational She-Hulk 50 from me for free out of the WhatNot show, because she's up here. It's like, well, that one, that one's for this person, and this one's for me, and you're gonna put it over to the side for me. No, if you're like, I can't really do that. It's on camera. And now Sarah goes, oh, yeah, there's Joe thickest but smallest fans. Yep, so sweet. B says, oh, that bookie, you don't want it. Can I have it, please? I said I don't know what to do with it. I didn't say I didn't want it. It's just like I'm not one of those people that will flip it, but I don't know what to really do with it. It's like it's one of those books that's like, yeah, I have one in my collection. It's signed. Is it really worth preserving at this point? Because I don't follow Venomverse. I don't follow the character Venom like that. You know, well, Beanie's probably too young to know about that, about having books in your collection that you're normally not a fan of. But it was in your collection because it was either given to you, or you happen to run into it, or it was part of a collection that you bought that you really didn't realize it was in there type of deal. Like I said, that one I actually won. I actually won that. That was the actual prize in like in like a giveaway, and I ended up winning that. So again, not being a fan of Venomverse, it was what it was. Am I going to throw it out? No. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know the true value of having one as of yet. You can totally give it to me because I'm cute. You see how she's campaigning. She's campaigning for that book. Yeah, I do. I found a uh, Alpha Phi in my bookie. I don't like them. Giggle. Yeah, she found Alpha Flight. She found an Alpha Flight book in her box with books that she don't like Alpha Flight. But you're not going to throw that Alpha Flight book away. You're going to keep that Flight book and take good care of it, aren't you? So now you understand my dilemma. It's like it's not going to be a book that I'm going to just like, oh, I'm just going to give it away. It's like no, it's just one of those things that happens to be one of those weird things in the long run here. I do know we're over an hour into it, so if Carl and Donna is still here, I'll see you guys next week. I know that you guys normally have to go over and work at stupid o'clock here, so I know that you're there here. You're like, fine, I guess I can take care of it, huh? Yeah, because you never know. You never know. It's like all of a sudden, it's like that Alpha Flight book that you may have could be be up in value out of nowhere, and then you come back to it, and it's like, look at this. It's a possible 9.8, and it could be worth X, Y, and Z. It's good to have. It's a good thing that I kept it and kept it in good condition. Now, if I really need to let it go, I could let it go for what it's worth. Now it's like, I just know that that book, for some reason, is a little bit of money, but I don't know how much. I'm not certain if it's just worth the price of grading it or if it's worth more than that. I don't know. That's what I'm actually getting at, Beanie. I don't know how much it's worth, but I could technically look it up on GP analysis or Go Collect, but even then, that's not how I would feel about it because I don't know of people actually clamoring for Edge of Venomverse like that. It's just not what I think it is. Think it should be here. But before we go here, because I'm getting to the point where about that time for me to hit that crash button and get up tomorrow, print these labels, go to storage, put these books up in storage, and get other books organized for to figure out where we're going to sell in the month of July. Let's see. For a sale at Hip Comics, $125.98 signed. $40 signed and unsigned. So it's about average. So it's about average for a modern book. For a modern book that is what, less than 5 years old, about average. And I do know that at one time there was a FOMO about Venomverse. Great show this, but I'm not done here. I got one more thing to show you guys here because I want to talk about it here real quick here. What we're going to talk about is this here. Yeah, I backed a few books here, and just to let you guys know here. This was one that I've been asking around for people to find other copies of AXA, and it turns out that there was a Kickstarter. And in this Kickstarter, they going to re-release the first two issues that came over to the United States here, and then they did new covers and stuff for it. So this has already been paid for and everything. And I actually still have the original number one, but they did newer covers and stuff for the first two issues that came out a long time ago. So that tells me that they did, they ended up getting the license for AXA, and they're planning to re-release it, and they did it as a Kickstarter here. It was successful and everything. So I paid the what $26 to get the classic reprint of those two books. I do have the original number one, and that's somewhere in my Sterlite bin for possibly getting graded. I don't feel like pulling that out here, but that was one of the things here. And against my better judgment, I end up investing in this one here. Yes, they have done a Darkwing Duck graphic novel series. It is going to be successful. It's not up and over. So if you want to get your copy of Darkwing Duck, one of these graphic novels for Darkwing Duck, you could go ahead and back the Kickstarter for it here. But I went ahead and backed this here, and I backed it for the first graphic novel. Why? Because the first graphic novel is something that I've been debating about for the longest to seek out and get anyway. And what I mean by seek out and get anyway, and I made mention of it recently that I finally got the original issue number one from way back when. So I eventually, did that and was about to get ready to start the process of getting all the other issues, and this happened to pop up. And what I ended up getting was the hardcover version of Darkwing Duck, uh, Darkly Dawns the Duck hardcover. And what's in that actual hardcover was actually in that particular hardcover. I'm about to show you here. And this is the reason. This is the reason why I backed it. Why is it not okay? That's not what I was looking for. Where's the actual description? I want the detailed description here. Okay. Okay, there's the three unique graphic novels. Okay. There it is. So in that graphic novel, The Darkly Dawns the Duck, you get the full entire run, 1 through 10, of the first Disney Afternoon series, which I just recently got the number one of. The first ten of the Walt Disney series here. You get the 14 from you get the rest of it from, oh shoot. It was a lot more. It was explained a lot better. Okay, it's explained better here. So it's like this exclusive omnibus size hardcover. It collects the Darkwing Duck 4-issue 1991 series from Walt Disney, where I got the issue number one from the Walt Disney series. So I get those four. And then I get the Darkwing Duck that Marvel did from the Disney Afternoon, which is 10. So it's 14 issues, 14 issues all together here that covers all the Darkwing Duck here series here. And then it includes a cover gallery of previously published cover art and special forward by Darkwing Duck creator Tad Stones here. So I get all the first stuff that was printed out in one fell swoop in an omnibus for 55. So that's the reason why I backed it in the long run here. So with that being stated here, we got Bean says, sell it on your show and get a Wendy book. I got an original printing of Axa from Rich. Yeah, issue 8. I think that was the European one. The European one, because the one that I'm talking about from Eclipse, I think it only ran 2 issues on Eclipse, but there was another publisher that brought it over from Europe, and that went 8 issues. And I think that's the one that you got here. I was going to back that. Yeah, I have the IDW set. Yeah, I think that was Cow and Fowl. I think Cow and Fowl is the IDW one. So Cow and Fowl is it's like collecting full 10 issues of the Dynamite series. So no, that was the Dynamite. That's the one that I got here. No, really? There was another Dynamite? Yeah, that was just recently. Really, they don't recognize the IDW series. So they went back to the original series, and then they don't acknowledge the IDW series. Wow, jeez, that is disappointing. That is actually disappointing that they did not recognize that here. But it's not the 90 stuff. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to get all the 90 stuff, so that's the reason why I was letting you guys know that I broke down and backed it for the hardcover omnibus here. So I should be okay with that. And on that note, let me bid you guys adieu here. Next week, what is next? What are we doing next week? Let me go out here and see my notes here for next week. Is next week the show that I think it is? Oh yeah. You don't want to miss next week's show because we're going to be talking about life, love, and comics. We're going to be talking about, oh, remember back in the day? Well, for some of us we can't. For some of us we can't because some people are growing up now. In like the late 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Those who are grown up in like the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s will understand some of the stuff that where geek culture now was nowhere close to where it was back then, and some of the social, if I could say, some of the social habits that doesn't translate very well here, especially when it comes to liking comics and being interested in relationships and all this other stuff and having a balance and everything to that magnitude. So that's what's coming up next week. We're going to compare, contrast, look at how things are today, compare it to how it was back in the day. Because now it is okay to say, yeah, I'm a big Spawn fan. Yeah, try to get away with saying that in the late 90s. Big difference. But it's coming for next week here. And hopefully, if you have enjoyed the show, please give it a like. Like, if you enjoyed the programming that we've been doing here, give me a subscribe. We're trying to build up our subscriber base here. And if you're really into what we do here and you like what I'm doing here, why don't you support even more by checking out studios.com, looking at our comic books here. I do three major titles over there at studios.com. I got Amazonia as the writer, creator, and artist on that, the creator, artist on Primetime Saturday Night, and soon to be when I get a chance to do issue number 5, I'll be taking over the art duties again for AWF. So until next time, live life, grow, and be well. And we're out of here for the week. I bid you guys adieu and adios. Have a good rest of your Saturday here. And if you're on the East Coast, I'm letting you go before it hits Sunday. So you got, maybe like 30 minutes or so before you hit the new day. So later's all and adios. Get out of here. As they as what Ferris Bueller would say, it's like, you still here? Why are you here? Go home. Go home.